If you are truly being intentional in your life and you want to find love and you're just over the dating, okay, make sure to subscribe because this is all the things that I'm all about. I found my happily ever after my person. We've been married together for 16 years. So if that resonates with you, if you want no BS, straight advice on how you can find it too, make sure you subscribe. Make this a habit where you can always find out when I post a new episode every Monday and Thursday. So what did Jenn do with the ex, Matt, who shows up, right, in the last episode wanting another chance? So many times, this can really help you and shed light on your journey, because how many times do our exes come back to haunt our asses, right? So this is where I was really on the fence, like, what's Jenn gonna do? And sometimes we are so familiar, it feels familiar. It is familiar, but familiar is not always good because it didn't work out. And so you want something different. You want something new. You want something out of your comfort zone. So I am so happy, spoiler alert, okay? Just in case you haven't seen it. But that's the thing about a good show where you can learn so much. It doesn't matter because what I'm going to say to you will help you regardless if you're watching The Bachelorette or not. Jenn decides to say bye-bye to the ex, Matt, and say, no, you're not going to come onto this journey now, even though he professed his love to her. She's been there, done that. It didn't work out. And, even though he wasn't one of the toxic ones, she said, my husband is in this room with a new batch of guys, right? And not Matt. So that's it. I was really happy that she actually decided that, because I'm always one. Now, is this always the case? But this is honestly what I usually say with exes: don't go backwards. It ended for a reason. And so like sometimes we're just so scared of the unknown and we choose to stay with the bullshit we do know, or even not even bullshit. Like Matt seemed like a decent, nice guy, but like, we're not going for a decent love story, right? We're going for the freaking crazy love, amazing, crazy love story. And so I'm excited for Jenn. And then I need to tell you, oh my gosh, something that you guys really can learn from is that one of the guys, Austin, decides to leave. Totally triggers all of her insecurities. So how many times have you been there where you're dating somebody and they do something that triggers your anxious attachment or your insecurities about feeling like not good enough? So Austin decides to leave because he's not really connecting with her. He hasn't had time, he says, and he just decides to leave. She is like totally, heartbroken about, like, just in her head. She feels like, not because she was so crazy about Austin or anything, but it was kind of like she's not getting chosen and she's rejected, and am I not enough for him, and maybe am I not enough for anyone? And I really feel like so many of us can relate to that. And what I loved is the producer that was asking her about it said, have you told the other guys you're feeling this way? And she hadn't. She was scared to be vulnerable and really open up about those kind of insecurities, to the guys, because she felt it's a weakness. And that is where I want you to know, when you have a moment or opportunities where, you are feeling triggered, your insecurities you're feeling like, oh shit, I'm not enough. Instead of just leaving that in your head, share it, like open up about it, talk to whoever you're dating about it, and see how they show up for you. Because what happened with Jenn on The Bachelorette, I loved. She put down her guard. She told everybody that Austin leaving triggered all these insecurities, and it gave them an opportunity to show up for her. And a really good partner will always show up for you. And they won't look at you like, what? You're not happy? You don't have it all figured out? You're not perfect? Well, bye-bye. Well, no, that's not your partner. Life is full of crazy shit, complications, struggles, and you want to be honest about it. You want to be vulnerable. You want to show that side to the possible partner you want to spend your life with, so you can see how they show up for you. And I loved how Jen communicated to the guys, and I loved seeing the guys show up for her. I like, even Sam, the one that, he's kind of like give me toxic vibes, and he just seems like such a physical connection, not emotional. He was so sweet. I'm like, oh my gosh, Sam. He's kind of like, if I was going through this, would you be here for me too? Like the same, I'll ask you the same question. And I felt like the way he communicated that was really nice. Do I love him for her? I don't know yet. I don't know. I'm like so on the fence with Sam. I just don't know. I love Devin still, always. But something else happened that you guys really should take note of. And if you've seen it, let me know in the YouTube comments or on Instagram. Reach out to me, the JkL&x, because I'm really feeling that this Bachelorette this season is so much gold for you on your journey to find love and what an emotional connection looks like. And so and that's not enough. So this is such a good example for you guys. When she was talking to Jonathan on the date, Jonathan, who I like, he's the one that showed up like in a patient of a doctor's office or whatever outfit, right? Anyway, he's fun and he's sweet and he has his shit together, it seems like. But he talked to her about being in a toxic relationship and how it tore him up to his core. He said that. This is where I feel like you guys, this may happen to you too. We get so excited when someone is like sharing so vulnerably. But what I wanted Jen to ask, and they didn't show it, maybe she did and they didn't show it on the show, but I wanted her to ask, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry like that happened to you. Like, what did you do to heal from that experience? So like something about the way he was saying it, it felt like he hasn't. The way that he was still kind of in it. And it makes me wonder, has he done therapy? Like, I'm such a fan of therapy. Like, why didn't Jen ask? Because if not, okay, if he's just sharing, I've been through this shit, it tore me up, and now he's just moving along his life, jumping into another relationship. That's a huge mistake. Huge. And so this is where you can see, is he really emotionally available? This is where you got to probe their ass. You have to ask the questions. You can't just be like, oh my God, that's amazing. It's okay. Oh, you went through that so horrible. Thank you for telling me that. Anyway, here, cheers to us. Here's a rose. I'm like, what? Like, literally, that's how it happened. It was like super, like, what? I feel like he revealed something important, which I'm happy that Jen gave the space, created the space for him to share vulnerably. That's what you want to do. But then ask questions. What did you do to heal? Have you been to therapy? Have you done coaching? Have you read books? Have you watched, have you gone to retreats? I don't know. People heal in different ways. There's a whole bunch of different ways to heal, right? Prayer, meditation. But if you don't ask the question and you're just going to assume that he's fine, this is when shit will blow up on your face. This is like, think about you and your past relationships. When someone kind of cracks the door open a little bit and tells you something and you're like, oh, wow, thanks for sharing. But you don't ask follow-up questions and probing questions to get under the surface and deeper. Because sometimes we're scared to know, oh my God, maybe they're not ready. And you don't even want to know that. You're kind of just like so excited about it working out. And there's so many great things that you don't even want to know. So yeah, I think Jen kind of dropped the ball. Does that mean that Jonathan hasn't done the inner work? I don't know yet. He hasn't answered that question because no one's freaking asked him. So I don't know. They showed a glimpse into like what's going to happen next coming weeks. And it's going to be so important to see who really is emotionally available. Her brother even said, Jen, you have a tendency, a pattern to choose the emotionally unavailable men. When I saw that, I go, oh my God, this makes sense. She doesn't ask those probing questions to see if these guys are truly ready. Have they healed from those past breakups and heartaches? The other guy that, I want to talk about before we end this episode, and make sure you subscribe, you guys, so you don't miss any of these gold nuggets. These are like, honestly, I put so much love into this podcast. And I'm really on a mission to help you find your person and your perfect match. And so I like to go over these really good reality shows, like not all the shit that's out there, but some of these are really good. And I truly hope you are hearing this and applying it to your own love life. Okay. And so the last one I want to mention is Grant, who, you know, he's a sweetheart, and he talks about his dad. Like, he openly and vulnerably communicates what he's been going through with his dad his whole life, being an addict. I was like, whoa, this is heavy. This is heavy. And how he was showing up for his dad. And for the past 2 months, his dad's been sober. But I truly feel that Jenn didn't ask more questions. I felt like, and maybe it's just a show editing it out or something, but I just feel like, I love that Grant shared, but does that mean because he shared, is he really aligned and ready to be a partner for Jenn? Like, this is where there's like there's a gap. Like, I feel like, why are we so excited that the guys are sharing openly and vulnerably? That should be like bottom line, baseline, you know, they better be sharing openly and vulnerably, right? But that's not the win. The win is, okay, now you're sharing, and now we have to ask questions. Oh my God, your dad's been an addict. Like, what support have you had throughout your life? How has your relationship with your mom been? Oh my gosh, she's amazing. That's awesome that they're aligned with that. You know, they're aligned with their moms. Awesome. And then ask more questions. How do you feel about, you know, partner, Like, just ask more questions. Because when you have a guy spilling their heart and their struggles with their dad, it's like, those are wounds. Those are wounds. And are we like bleeding out, or are we like healing? And it's like, you know, he is grateful for the experience. It's like, I just don't know for sure, you know? And so what you can learn from that when you watch that episode and moving forward too, is like, how is she navigating this? Where are there openings where she could ask more questions? And so when you're connecting with people and they're telling you something, like, oh shit, like, ask more questions. And particularly to see if they're really ready to be with a partner and to make you a priority. Because Grant may have to really show up for his dad. And that's nothing wrong with Grant. But Grant may not have he might not be available right now because his heart has to be in with his dad. Who knows? Like, you just have to ask questions to find out. You know, Grant ends up crying and saying he's in love, and it's kind of crazy. And I'm wondering, oh my God, he's kind of falling to pieces, and he's kind of freaking out because he's falling in love with Jenn. And I'm wondering, would he really be having that kind of reaction if he was truly ready to be in love and have a partner? You know, I feel like you're surrendering. You surrender when you fall in love with somebody, but you're not crying like, oh shit, in fear. Do you see what I'm saying? Because if you still have insecurities and you're scared that someone is not going to show up for you, or you have abandonment issues, or you have like just certain wounds that haven't healed, and you're carrying that past, you're going to be terrified to fall in love again. You're going to be like, what the hell? I don't want to do this. I'm out of control. I don't like this. But if you've done the work, you feel like you've really healed your wounds, and you are meeting someone that's aligned, you are going to be doing cartwheels going into that relationship because you're so ready, you're so clear, you're so ready to do life with that person. You see, so Grant kind of having that breakdown, I think some of you may have been like, who knows, you might have been like, oh my God, how sweet. And I'm thinking, oh shit, no. I'm like, no. I'm kind of like, wait a second, Grant, maybe Grant's not ready for this. Uh-oh. So, of course, time will tell. I will see Monday's episode and, of course, dive into it and let you guys know how it all goes. But let me know how this is really, does it apply to you? Does it resonate with you? Is any of this kind of truly helping you on your journey? I want to know. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you. And do not settle for anything less than crazy love. Because remember, it has to be crazy love or nothing. Until next time, thank you.